everyone. It is Thursday, October 21st, the back half of Unit 3 of Level 5. We just got in from yoga, enjoying a nice oat milk latte, settling in for the day. The next couple days is all about the homework assignments. We've got an assignment for songwriting class, music business, and keys theory. So we got to get to work here. We got to make sure that that's all done. Icon has specific marking days for each student. You're pooled in with a certain instructor. And on your main coursework page, it actually shows you what days you get marked. But yeah, it's a lot of chord theory, which is kind of interesting. As I said in the beginning of the week, it's breaking everything down into its core foundation. And from that foundation, they build us up. It's honestly invaluable to learn this way. I know on YouTube, it's like, I want to learn something about compression, and then I go down this rabbit hole. And a lot of the times I'm just kind of copying what they're doing in the video. I'm not actually learning how and why I use those tools. But anyways, we're going to keep it short and sweet. This afternoon, we have our mentor session from 4 to 5, and I will jump back on here as soon as that's done and share all my thoughts. I had a meeting with some of the people from my big secret project, and things are evolving. Things are changing. Things are looking really exciting. I'm going to share a lot of the thoughts from that meeting that I had with my mentor and see what he thinks, and then we'll continue on with our plan of action. All right, we'll see you again in the afternoon. Happy Friday, October 22nd, everyone. I'm feeling pretty freaking good this morning. I don't know if it's from doing yoga 2 times this week, maybe getting a little bit of a more restful sleep. This morning, we got a DJ mix that we need to submit. Nothing too special at this point. I mean, if I make it to the next round, then I might give you a little bit more details, but we actually finished all the assignments yesterday, so we don't have any of those. And you know what? I'm gonna kick myself in the butt for this. We didn't start our keys assignment yet, so I am doing that this morning. What else is going on? I don't know. It feels like this week's kind of just flown by. Oh my god. I just realized I did not do a mentor session recap again. Here's what happened. I had a meeting with 2 of my partners on my big secret project, and I basically told my mentor everything that we discussed. We have narrowed down a solid plan, and now I am picking apart that plan and building a schedule, building a to-do list, and we just got to keep to that, and we just got to start knocking things down. And there's a whole bunch of synchronicities happening behind the scenes, so it just tells me that we are on the right track. That was all about kind of really solidifying a plan, now building out that plan of action, and the next step is to build the pitch deck for the project. Part of that is potentially getting investors on board this project. So this is a really big deal. And honestly, my mentor thinks that it won't be that hard, that this idea is that forward thinking. So I know I'm building up the hype, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. You know, we got our Friday vlog segment coming right up in about 2 seconds. Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Friday Fireside Chat. Let's wind down from the week by taking a nice deep breath. In, hold, and out. That's better. So this week at Icon was all about chords, learning the foundation of chords as it relates to songwriting, as well as rhythmic chord patterns. What I wanted to do this week was show you some very interesting ways to spice up your chord patterns. Your basic chord is made up of 3 different notes, a triad, as well as a bass note, an octave or 2 down. Now, you'll probably recognize and have done some of these techniques. You just maybe might not have known the technical name for it. So let's get started here. The first one is called a block chord. Now you'll see this in trance especially. A block chord is basically a rhythmic pattern that keeps your chord in place. It keeps the notes of the chord playing at the same time, but you can really get creative with it by making interesting rhythmic choices. Let's take a look. So here we are in Ableton, and let's go over this very, very basic chord progression that I have. This is everything in its root position. We're in A minor. And so very quickly, before we get to the rhythmic chord patterns, let's review something I showed you before. So here are those same chords, but inverted now. So we've taken the first chord and put it up into first inversion. We've also done the same to this F major chord. And this is to create a smooth voice leading. And now let's move on to this. So you can push or pull chords to make them start sooner or later. In this situation, we have actually pulled the C major chord forward, as well as we've actually broken up the back half of this F major chord, and we've thrown in a G major, but then we doubled it right here and also pulled that chord forward, so we can get something a little more interesting going on for our chord progression. Adding this G major chord in here really helps kind of bring things back around. It also helps that this G chord here is right below our original chord of A minor. All right, let's get into our first one here, and this is a block chord. Much like this one, we are basically just breaking up our chords into blocks and creating more interesting rhythmic patterns. So that changes the entire feel of the song, and depending on if you have lyrics in there or if you have a lead melody, this could really give some flavor to your track overall. That's block chords. The second one is called a broken chord. This is done by simply breaking up the chord. A real handy way to do this is to take the bottom note of your chord and shift that in between your rhythmic pattern. It can really create a quickness to the overall feel of your progression. And so, as you can see here, the big difference between the block chords and the broken chords is I have moved this bottom note. I have broken up the chord to make this even more interesting. You'll notice I've almost moved every single one except for this right here. And so just pay attention to the speed and energy that it gives this chord progression now. So now we are getting into a much more rhythmic, interesting chord pattern. You might not want something this busy if you have a complicated lyrical melody going over top. I think in music, there's a tendency to overcomplicate things, so keeping it as simple as you possibly can while making everything work together in a way that gives the illusion of complexity is the key. And last but not least, one of the most popular, arpeggiation in ARP. And this is achieved by playing the notes of the chord in a clever order to really switch up the rhythmic energy of your chords. You can use an arpeggiation to kind of add flair to your chords. Now, coming from producing a lot of trance, I have created entire arpeggiation leads. Let's give this a listen. Pay attention to this part, kind of the midway through this chord progression, and then the end. I added a little bit of style, a little bit of flair with this chord progression. But this is just another option, another tool to have in your toolbox to employ if you're feeling like back over here in the root position, things are just a little too boring, a little too static, and you want to spice things up. Well, how about that? 3 chord techniques, when put all together, make some really interesting and rhythmic chord progressions. If you're ever stuck with these static chords and you just don't know what to do, these are some techniques that could really, really help you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. That'll be it for the Friday fireside chat today. And a good morning to you on this Saturday, October 23rd. How'd you like that chord progression tutorial yesterday? You know, it's all about the subtle changes, the subtle differences that you do with your chords, with your melodies that make a huge difference. So even just putting a little arpeggiation at the end of your chords really can help take it to the next level. But anyways, you know what day it is. We are jumping into Dune and we are sound designing for actually just for the morning today. We are going to go support one of our friends who is a full-time streamer. He streams the game Apex Legends, who actually has a pro league. Like, we're talking $5 million in total prizes. So this is a huge deal, and he is doing the qualifiers to get into the pro league. So we're gonna go support him. So we're gonna jump in on the sound design. We're gonna try to get at least 10 sounds done. And honestly, it's the weekend and I could use like some time not in the studio, you know? But anyways, I sincerely hope that you're having a good week and that your weekend went well. Let's get to work. Welcome back to Sound Design Saturday. I love this vlog segment, a dedicated sound design day. We did something a little different this week. I think we built around 10 pad style atmospheres. You could use a lot of these sounds in your breakdowns, things like that. It's kind of weird, even though I was using a few different techniques and trying to get experimental with things, a lot of my pads end up sounding similar. You know, there's a certain vibe that resonates with me. So without further ado, meet me over by the computer. All right, here we are in my very favorite synthesizer, Dune 3 by Synapse Audio. And we've got about 10 different sounds, including this ARP sound that I made, to show you for Sound Design Saturday today. Let's get started. Number 1, ARP Atmospheric. Number 2, Pad Detune. Number 3, Pad Gentle. Number 4, Pad Growing. Number 5, Hauntingly Beautiful. Number 6, Heartfelt. Number 7, High Up. Number 8, Pleasant. Number 9, Serious. And last but not least, number 10, Soft. And there you have it. Another Sound Design Saturday in the bank. Surprisingly enough, these sounds actually were quite different from one another. Anyways, it's the end of the video and you've probably already clicked off. So I'm just gonna say, we'll see you next week.